and a long time. Aye, this time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. Aye, this time and a long time, long time. This time a long time, this time a long time. This na day before time. This time and a long time. Aye, this time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. Aye, this time and a long time, long time. This time a long time, this time a long time. This na day before time.
I am Ted Eric Matthews. My brother, Lear Matthews, and I would like you to travel back in time with us to places and persons highlighting customs, practices, and parlance of the home country, Guyana. It is about who we were. Jump in the line and wind your body in time. This time not long time. I what happened happen one time. This time not long time. Remember Goblet Joe dancing non-stop through Christmas into New Year? This time not long time. Toffee balls, never done sweetie, brockmouth, Chinese cake, 2-glass quencher, Carrion sweet wine, the Gar Rice House. Remember them real bad men, Briga Barbie, Portuguese Tunos, Tubati John, Soti. What happened to my Maypole and my May Queen? Dorburn Park, Racecourse, Border Green, Atkinson Field, Fish and Bread at Myconey Station, Mahaica Bridge, Wismar Rockstone, Etanami Hallover, RH Car, MV Malami. Remember 1953? Jane Phillips, Gay, Gina Ryan Singh, Ashton Chase, Farbs and Chetty, and Sidney King, UC Guyana, who warned this confounded nonsense must stop. This time not long time. Long time was Ice Apple from Canada and Pick Frame soda crackers in the blue tin box from the mother country. Long time was the whole village traveling to the airport to see a family member after the outer world. Sometimes 2 or 3 buses full up with friends and relatives. The lucky emigrant had to be properly dressed with hat and gloves, dark suit and necktie, proper colonial subjects. This time not long time, but we're here now in this time. We've made changes and adapted to change. Yet still we often yearn for time past, for long time. After our long time was childhood innocence, filled with fun, laughter, freedom, was hopscotch, skipping rope, jacks, last lick, guinea and green mango, tamarind and stinking toe, jamun and awara, tar and jumin, foul pen, trench car, train line, big market and Sunday best. This time not long time, and long time not this time. Oh, how time has fled. Long time was then, this time is now.
This time not long time. Remember when a freck for a small boy was a Jill? Now it's more like $1,000 bill. This time not long time. Remember the militia band in splendid regalia, playing in the Botanic Gardens, where you park your bike with your girlfriend for romantic reasons? If you're sure but yourself, it was the seawall or King's Ground, even if you had to ride all the way from Charlestown. You might even get spot riding along the seawall on a Sunday afternoon. Oldies blasting from a jukebox, playing a back-in-time tune. Shorthand and typing was the in thing. Steel band was king, and Johnny Braff could have really sing. Masquerade was proper flouncing, and Yoruba singers among the best in music entertaining. This time not long time, when gay was happy, before watchman turned security. Operation didn't mean surgery. This time not long time, remember the Georgetown yellow bus with routes around our garden city? Imagine a passenger asking, is this a Kitty Campbellville or Church Durban? And another politely responding, the latter, madam. Courtesy, camaraderie, and respect reigned. Now, the minibus music driving passengers insane, playing London Bridge is broken down again and again. Nowadays, when you hear somebody in Brooklyn say, Mr. Please for a pass on the Flatbush bus or B103 to Canarsie, you smile because you know it's wannabe. Remember when a penny marby and a tennis roll and cheese was a meal? And a puri and a ball was a good call? A shilling loaf was a big plat bread, and Bastiani buried the dead. This time na long time. Remember when we had the thriving bauxite company? It was true. The percentage share was 52. Rice and sugar were solid for the economy. Now, the Chinese and Brazilians gaining a curious foothold in the country. Hopefully, this wouldn't compromise economic sovereignty. In North America, some of we doing fairly well, while others catching hell. But we there in the stream, pursuing that elusive dream. To cope with the stress, some denigrate where they come from and glorify the land to which they run, even if the weather is a bomb. Some even clinging to religion for salvation, especially after disappointing election. Put that in your pipe and smoke 'em. This time na long time. Remember when supermarket was the salt goods shop, and from the drugstore you could get your PL and strong cough drop? When Q-Tex was the only polish for the ladies' nail, and the magistrate would order lashes going in and out of jail. Yet still, we often yearn for time pass, for long time. This time na long time. School days on my mind. From senior Cambridge to CP, to GCE, to CXE. Government take over the schools and families get an ease with school fees, with help also coming from the diaspora overseas. Bishops and QC gone co-ed. Whoever thought such a thing could be said? This time na long time. Nowadays, girls playing some serious cricket and football in the inter-school division, giving them boys stiff competition. Remember the West Coast Bobby's bus? With names like Queen Elizabeth, Hamlet, Duke of Edinburgh, stopping at Mycone, Abari, Belagum, Litchfield, Rosignol, and El Dorado, overloaded with passengers and oversized market vendor load on the rooftop tray, wheels kicking up red dust as they speed away. This time na long time. Remember the GDF and the GNS, Ayangana, Kimbia. Plenty former soldiers in this country, while in Guyana, one of them trying to bring unity back to the society. Look how things change, eh? Long time the joiner, carpenter, cabinet maker, the madame, that's the hairdresser, the worker, that's the seamstress, the painter, shoemaker, and farmer were essential occupations. This time na long time, former entertainers and sports personalities used to be publicly supported and recognized. Now it appears as though they are ignored and even despised. Cricket was indeed lovely. Now, like the game is all about money. What a pity. This time na long time. Remember when pone and conky stored in the wooden safe were tasty and the gardens had them big manatee? In the country, after fetching water from the roadside, you had to put the sheep in the pen before locking up the cock and hen. Remember the days of Pan Am flying in and out to the homeland with no confusion? Now they got enough different airlines with all kinds of delays, causing tension and aggravation. No reprieve when you complain, increasing the emotional pain. Long time, when you go back home, you could always stay at your family with no hesitation. Nowadays, you got to stay at hotel because of the spiraling immigration and family dispersion. Despite these changes, a growing diaspora still try to sustain cultural connections. Many of us embrace the memories to which we are inevitably connected, the way we were. Long time, we could have marked time. This time, make time to share the stories of that time. Thank you.
This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time a long time. This time a long time. This not day before time.
Poodle boy riding, poodle boy dashing, poodle boy flashing, poodle boy stop, poodle boy stickling, poodle boy moving, poodle boy speeding, poodle boy smile, poodle boy chipsing, poodle boy changing, poodle boy banking, poodle boy hot, poodle boy curling, poodle boy driving, poodle boy dancing, poodle boy cool. He was a flash phenomenon for a day, a brief delight. He was daring, he was bold, a swarthy knight in shining steed. See him dash and dodge, his spokes gleaming bright, feet firmly pressed by ball or toes on the pedals. See him push furiously, then chips backwards, just a mite, and click, second gear, and click, top gear, and he gone. Traffic held no terror, be it motor car or van or truck or bus or donkey cart, be it pedestrian or slow-moving cyclist. He wove his way among them and skillfully painted designs around them, arabesques, pirouettes, pas de deux. Alarmingly, he always saw the stop sign though, and when he stopped, it was sudden, a burning of the rubber, and 3 pedals backwards, deft twisting of the handlebar, and he stickled right there, put the spot. Then he push off, chest tuck out, head held high and proud, and he gone. Poodle boy was a champion, successor to the Sagabai and the Edgebai, precursor of the banners, master of the King Sailor, the sandwich and the zeg. And when Poodle boy spot a pretty craft, Poodle boy tackled the beanie. Weekdays, he wore a discolored or washout rescue, wachikong on feet, kerchief dangling, yellow cheesecloth bright and fluttering under decorated saddle, and a faded dungaree pants. But Sunday afternoon was special, special for Poodle boy, special for the whole town. Seawall Road was ablaze from King's Ground to Kitty Playground, from Agricola to Plaisance. Poodle boy reigned supreme. Poodle boy was roots, bold, brash, dazzling, daring, bound to get spot, bound to play. Come early night and road lights turn on, Poodle boy flick on the pepper lights, brighter than a Christmas tree. And I saw you weaving and he moving. And you all remember Poodle boy Morvin and Poodle Roy and the boys from the East Bank? But then Poodle boys was really something, eh? Aye, you all agree?
This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time a long time. This time a long time. This not day before time.
Greetings all. I'm sure that like me, sometimes you have the yearning to imaginatively travel back in time to the good old days and engage in a sort of nostalgic recreation of the past. The subconscious is jolted back to a place of absolute joy and contentment that we often need to cope with some of the challenges of today. During the 1960s in Guyana, there were certain popular events which did not only bring elation and satisfaction to a cross-section of the population, but emerged as a part of the cultural tradition, perhaps expected to last forever. Cavalcade of Sports was one such occurrence. The incident I'm about to share with you occurred at this iconic event at one of the country's most popular sports venues at that time. It was an overcast day, and members of the Tutorial High School track and field team were participants in one of the invitation races. Border, also known as the Guyana Cricket Club, or GCC, was packed with spectators. including students who came to watch their hero athletes perform. It was time for the men's 4x100 meters relay race, and Tutorial was represented by one of the best high school teams in the country, perhaps in the region. Richard Jones, Jonesy, Maurice Emmanuel, Manchi, Ian Robertson, known as Rabo, and Ronald Bamfield, the Bammer. "Them boys fast bad," shouted a young enthusiast as the athletes warmed up on the sun-singed grass track, some in street clothes because track suits were not affordable gear at that time. No sooner did the first leg runners, including Richard Jones, wearing the school colors of brown singlet and golden shorts, take up their starting positions, than the starter raised his pistol. "On your marks!" A deafening silence suddenly resonated across the popular Border Stadium. "Set!" One could almost hear a pin drop. "Patai!" As if serving as a cue for both athlete and spectator. A thunderous roar emerged from the crowd, increasing in intensity as the athletes propelled from the start line. Apparently, some of the runners at the far side of the ground were not aware of the command for the start of the race due to a malfunctioning public address system. This resulted in the failure of one of the Tutorial athletes to remove his long pants in time to receive the baton. Anticipating the possible calamity that could befall the favorite team, the crowd's roar was now intermingled with nervous laughter. Jonesy came out of the blocks like a rocket, leaning forward slightly, accelerated at incredible speed, opening an early lead. The spectators went wild as he handed the baton to Manchi. "Clean!" yelled an excited fan in the bleachers, referring to the flawless baton exchange. Manchi was magnificent as he dashed around the track between the unevenly painted lanes, widening the gap further, giving an unforgettable exhibition of speed, strength, and skill. The third leg scene, however, could be described as melodramatic. Robertson was still struggling to take off his long pants, which I believe was a bell bottom, as Manchi approached him at top speed. Wishing to avert what would have been certain disaster, Robertson abandoned any further attempt to disrobe, took the baton in one hand while holding up his unzipped trousers at the waist with the other. The spectators were almost in a frenzy, screaming and cajoling while flailing their hands in anticipation of what may occur next. An overzealous patron with both hands on his head belted out, "Oh Lord, it's going to happen here today." Amazingly, Robertson, in perfect stride and a display of astounding athleticism, negotiated the northwestern border bend with surgical precision, extended the lead even further, leaving the competition in the dust. The noise in the stands escalated to a deafening crescendo. Then, with a remarkably smooth handoff from his unruffled teammate, his familiar bounce and perfect form, Bama, the consummate anchor, majestically sprinted unchallenged toward the finish line and brought home the win in record time to the delight of ecstatic fans. What a memorable event in the legacy of the athletic competition of Tutorial athletes. The next day, sportscaster B.L. Crombie of Radio Demerara described the performance as an epic. Such nostalgic moments are forever etched in our memory with a sense of pride in the accomplishment of former students. That Tutorial School relay team represented a cohort of athletes following the tradition of sprinters including Olympian Claudette Masdama, and paved the way for others such as Pepe Beaton, James Gilks, Clifton Shulks, Dennis Collison, and many others. Those glorious days are gone, but not forgotten. I hope that this story whetted your appetite for marinating in stories about the good old days. Share it with your children and grandchildren so that generations to come will have a window into the joys, challenges, and dedication to this aspect of our traditions and heritage. Y'all walk good here.
This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time a long time. This time a long time. This not day before time.
School days on my mind. Come with me down memory lane. Reminiscing about our school days often conjures up a nostalgic, if not euphoric, comfort. Indeed, we may leave home, but home never leaves us. The way we were in the good old days established the foundation for who or what we have become. Those who were of primary or secondary school age in Guyana and the Caribbean during, before, or even after the 1960s would remember the following: blackboard and easel, eraser, fountain pen and inkwell, blotting paper, slate, slate pencil, lead pencil, exercise book with timetables on the back cover, wooden school bench, little ABC, big ABC, first standard, third standard, fourth farm, ruler, sums, nursery rhyme, shilling arithmetic, royal reader. What were students' companions, remember that? Silas Marner, spell well, Caribbean reader. Remember Latin, recreation, school bell, school calling, school over. You remember responding to the teacher's commands? Class stand, hands out, in, up, down, sit, line up. You remember pupil teacher? What about common entrance, scholarship class, and CP, which is College of Preceptors? School leaving, GCE, that's General Certificate of Education. Senior Cambridge. I was in P Farm. After school lessons, wild cane, licks in school. You remember the games? School sports, late for school, last slick, rounders, hopscotch, jump in, tar, bottom ball. What about two-tip cricket? I like that, you know. Champion girl and champion boy. I give edge and I still beat it. Part of the school curriculum used to be woodwork class, sewing class, gardening, home economics, shorthand and typing. Debating society they had, remember? You remember Bottom House School? I'm sure you remember Ribambo, Sweetie Lady, Ice Black and Fluty. Who were never done Sweetie? You'd have liked the tamarind syrup, eh? Shave ice, toffee balls, mango with sour. You remember this school-related parlance? I skipped second standard. He failed. He's a dunce. She was a nice prefect. He's a bright boy. He passed with flying colors, you know. She passed with distinction. He get 10 subjects. Study your book, learn your tables. I get a duck egg in the last test, you know. She used to ride a preggy to school, but he had a Constance bike. I used to wear yachting boots and short pants to school. The spectacles make he look like a real teacher boy. Remember that? The teacher used to give hard dictation and mental. On top of that, used to beat bad. I was called from school today, man. I'm going to go to Martini and sit down in pit. Remember tongue by? Them country cheering the bride though. You forget the food carrier on the train. I bring fuss. He bring last. He failed the exam, you know. What space you bring? The penny break, man. Alvin, the book always got dark ears. The boy hard ears, you know. Remember when them big people warned you? When you go to school, must walk in the corner before car lick you down. Walk on the pavement. Don't walk when the grass down. Mickey's before you're late for school. Lennox nearly fall in the gutter yesterday, you know. Let me play catcher. I taken a shortcut. I was in Gould fuss, yachting laughing. She had to go home and starch and press her uniform yesterday. My father bicycle puncture so he couldn't drop me to school. He always wearing the limeskin on his head, man. Then by stand lies till he cry. Bano, why is it pagly? You's a mook or what? You been to school in August or what? The teacher beat it till he wee skin. She uniform always neat. Don't forget your book bag, boy. Your school clothes rumple up. You gonna get a good cocktail when you go home. You wait. We always address properly our teachers as Miss or Sir. Back in those days, boys used to wear their pants well above the waistline. Now, the pants hanging off the behind. Long ago, when we clothes tear up, they call we a poor soul. Nowadays, they're wearing pants with some big hole. It's like fashion gone out of control. Here we are, from slate and pencil to mouse and iPod, from face to Facebook, from smart student to smartphone. Nowadays, everybody got cell phone with all kind of fancy ringtone. If you don't have apps and FaceTime, you better stay at the back of the line. As we celebrate our many life events and mourn others, having been influenced by such transformations, both at home and in the diaspora, let us remember the groundings that helped us adapt to our current life space, how we got from there to here. School days would always be on my mind. School days meant work and play, joy, sadness, uncertainties, friendship, innocence, the need for recognition, hope, and ambition. These recollections invoke a kind of paradox of sustained yet appreciative hardships of the past. I urge you to share these stories of the way we were with the generation of this time. Cherish it. Long time, we had a good time and some hard time. Sometimes we even had to stand in them long line. But some we didn't mind. We have made it to this time. Things really change fast. The new generation got to make it last. Now is a different time. We still have some time to make it divine.
This time and a long time. 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 This time a long time. This time a long time. This not day before time.
A GOOBIE is not a calabash. It's not the calabash I want, it's the GOOBIE. You don't know the difference? Well, I tell you, you young people don't know these things. You're all out of touch. But we can't afford to lose everything. We got to keep up the culture and the tradition. After all, it's we history. Let me ask you, you ever drink Bushy or Paiwari? You ever taste Kasiri? You ever sail up the Potaro or the Mazaruni or the Koyuni? You ever see them women fetching the heavy warishi or squeezing out the cassava juice from the matapi? We must keep these things, it's we history. Let me ask you this. You ever eat lava and drink creek water? When you was a small boy, you ever had Nara or Lata? Anybody ever call you a Lamata? You ever knock down follow me nest and then had to run like hell? Take me advice. Go and see the stone glyphs, the stone writing at Timeri. Visit the ruins at Fort Kaikoveral. Go to Kaichor Falls, the highest single drop in the world. Go to the Rupununi and take in the beauty of the savannas. Go to Chumachumari, to Kwakwani, to Isano, to Imbaimadai, to Aishelton. All is we own, is we history. You know how much people sacrifice and did for we? We can't look at this thing cas. It's serious. Let me tell you. When you go waterside, you might meet Fair Maid. And when you go up some of them rivers, you might meet Watamuma or Masakuraman. Let me ask you, Plimple ever joke your finger? Or stick in your foot? You ever eat jamun, awara, kokrit, or lang mango? What about stinking toe? You hear about them, about Bam Bam Sally? Boys, nothing you don't know. You ever go and swim and get crapo beard? You ever had shrimps with Karila dove down in some coconut milk? Listen, you see them gangasaka crawl them up there? Up in the kanji, we just call them Dondaweri. Same lizard, different name. You know, we is the first in South America to get a railroad? No? Well, you know now. We must pass it on because it's we culture, it's we history. Anyway, thanks for the goobie. Let me take a drink of this cool rainwater. Anyway, I gone. I can see you later.
This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time a long time. This time a long time. This not day before time.
Holiday done. Bottom house and French corner. Brown rice and saltfish choker. Bitter Karila and dry fish with hot pepper. If you can't run fast, don't trouble follow me in Marabunta Nest. Throw the cast net. Feel for the hassa nest. You might even catch couple coras and long codger. Remember when lease water run? We get some big overgrown shrimps, some huri, cassie and snook and four-eye. This is no lie. Night time, after we eat dinner and bathe before we go to bed, thick blazing fire and thick smoke in the front yard. Every now and then, a rush of tiny sparks fly up in the air like fireflies, then disappear. And the mosquito brush make out the tibiciri vine and dry ide palm leaf, help drive away all them night flies. Ring play and Nancy stories, and Jumbie stories, and old Ike stories, and me riddle, Marie. My father had a tree. It used to bear a kind of fruit. But the week before we left to go back to school in town, Mama, grandmother, gonna dose we off. You can't go back to school and you ain't get a good clean out. Mama dig a lily bud from the garden, wash it good, and put it on a slow boil in a big butter can. Early morning, Alma sitting on them rice bag with the enamel cup full of lily water. And that thing smell fainty. You hold your nose and drink it quick. Then you sip in water and your belly feel funny and you start throwing up. And Mama sets your face and keep saying, drink more water, swallow boy, swallow, drink more water, look all the bile coming up. But the lily was only the first part to clean out the stomach. 2 days after was raw castor oil to clean the lower bowel. This time was only one outside pit latrine and a big blue slap can upstairs. So we suffered in groups of 3s or 4s to cover 10 or 12 children. During those 4 or 5 cleansing days, we were given a diet of dark grey focana soup, bits of dry fish, coconut water and jelly, and plain dry biscuit. After 4 to 5 weeks of fun and freedom and eating almost everything in sight, pram, and hot bread straight from the mud and wood oven under the kitchen, cassava bread, dry coconut, green mango, chanchi, peas and rice pop, all kind of raw green food, any fruit in season including sapodilla, dongs, guava, guinea, roast green plantain with salt butter down the middle, roasted sweet potato, curry fowl and duck, fowl egg, duck egg, fresh cow milk, roast corn, boiled corn. At cleansing time, everything came to a halt. It was time to go back to town, back to school. We were sad, but we understood. Fun done, holiday done.
This time and a long time. This time and a long man a long time, long time. This time a long time, this time a long time. This not day before time.
Guyana Carrion Crow. Wait, you say you know about board? Well, let me ask you this. You ever watch and study Carrion Crow? Eh? You think Carrion Crow is a matty? Carrion Crow is a serious, serious bird, a cautious bird, a vicious bird, a bird for all seasons, a vulture for all possible reasons, a vulture of the family Egyptides cathardae. Carrion Crow don't make sport. You don't make joke with Carrion Crow. You ever watch how Carrion Crow just take time and circle in the sky? Easy, slow, dipping, gliding, using eddies in the air. Black, smooth, beautiful, watching, eyes probing everywhere, assessing, measuring, calculating. Height, distance, angles. Carrion Crow is a specialist designed for the walk. You ever watch how Carrion Crow does land? How he just step forward and sideways to the chosen carcass? The carrion of choice? Lightly, almost delicately, stepping carefully with outstretched wings, majestic, focused, yet suspicious, with bald pink muscular neck and small black head with hooded eyes, almost reptilian, bobbing, twisting from side to side, aware. And Carrion Crow don't come alone, and the real feast don't start till the big boss, the main man, the governor, come and take a piece. Then the ripping and the tearing and the butchering and great flapping of wings and flying feathers and all the knives. When I was a small boy, I used to like stand up and watch them feeding and fighting. Bro, when you want to know about board, when you want to talk about board, Carrion Crow is the master. Anyway, I can see you later. Look, the boss coming. I gone, yeah?
This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time and a long time. This time and a long time, long time. This time a long time, this time a long time. This not day before time.
This is for Kwebinang on the upper Mazaruni River. Kai, the old man, sat beneath the tree or in the hut, proud and fierce of spirit, overflowing with poems. His stories of mountains and rivers and creeks, his songs of forests and birds are rich as earth, as green as forests, as fresh, as powerful, as alive as river. Kai, the old man, stood beneath the tree, his inner eye aglow with knowing, with memories. His gnarled frame like red cedar, like green heart, like purple heart, like silver barley, like Wallaba, like Corial, born of earth, the forest, the river. Kai, the old man, stood by the river's edge and watched the muddy flow. His river, his blood, like river. Sunlight reflecting, clean and powerful spring, leaping, dancing, dark, swift flow, boiling and noisy struggle of rapids, roaring, tumbling falls, was then, and now, slow and easy swirl to river's mouth, not river's end.